Hey everyone, video number 3. They do take some time, but I'm glad I'm getting them done. I think I have like one more. And then at some point I will just come back and tell you I'm still reading Radetzky March by Joseph Roth, the Austrian writer. It's very good, but it is kind of sad. It's a bit of a downer, but it's going quite well. It's just I don't have a lot of time to read. And then the other one that I'm listening to is The Idiot. So I will come back at some point and talk about them when I'm probably finished with them. But this is project number 3. This is a long one, or I don't know. It's been kind of, I don't even know how it all happened. Well, excuse me while I try and turn the heat on. It's not so cold anymore. So the gist of it all is my interest in 19th century France stuff, and blame that mainly on my reading of Zola. But I have to say, even though I gave the Balzac that I read a while ago a pretty negative review, it's been brewing. It's been brewing in my head. And also for the longest time now, I've wanted to revisit Flaubert, the brilliant writer who wrote Madame Bovary. He's just like, he might be the best of them all. And I wanted to sort of, and anyway, I'm interested in 19th century France. I'm interested in the 19th century. And the French thing is kind of one of them. And so what I fell into was I was reading on the London Review of Books, which is the one I have. I don't have the New York one. Tell me which one do you have? And then there's, of course, the Times Literary Supplement. There's too many, and I don't have the wherewithal. Even the London one, I dip into it more than I should. I wish I could have had time to read it more back to cover, but back to front, everything. But then I'd probably be buying more books than I already am, so maybe it's good. I really wanted to make it to the store when I was in London, and I didn't get there. I was laid low by illness, as you saw on my vlogs, my Christmas vlogs. It was a bit sad, but whatever. Maybe another time, we'll see. Anyway, this was a review by fascinating Australian-British historian of Germany, Christopher Clark, interesting fellow, brilliant mind, Cambridge professor, has been knighted because of Anglo-German relations. I was watching a video where he speaks his beautiful German, and then his English is very sort of inflected by, you can tell he's Australian, but barely. It's been Britishfied. He seems very sort of, anyway, he's a brilliant mind of this historian. And I've always he's been on my radar for the longest time, and I never got his book on the First World War, which is called Sleepwalkers, and I really want to read that because I've heard great things about that book. So he's also interested in the 19th century, and he wrote a review of the book that I bought. And the book is by Jonathan Beecher. Now, he's an American French historian, and the book that I bought is this tome called Writers and Revolution, Intellectuals in the French Revolution of 1848, the big sort of messy, all over the place disruption in the middle of the 19th century that caused a lot of things to happen. And it's hard to get a handle on it because it's so all over the place and so different. And the sort of cliche answer to it all is that it was a, I read somewhere, a complicated failure, but I don't know if that's accurate. I don't think it quite is. But there's a lot to be said about the revolution and so how it played out in France. And so this book, Writers and Revolution by American historian of French stuff, Jonathan Beecher, gets brilliant reviews everywhere. Everyone says it's a really, really, really good book. And let me just read you a little bit from the review. I keep hearing over at it, sorry, by Clark on this book. It says here, at the heart of Jonathan Beecher's Writers and Revolutions is a simple but powerful idea. To follow 9 contemporary intellectuals, and then he names them, and I'll do my best. Dagout, never heard of Dagout, I'll have to figure out who he is. And then, of course, some you've heard of. The novelist Jean Sand, Victor Hugo, Gustave Flaubert, the statesman Lamartine, the liberal theorist and parliamentarian Alexis de Tocqueville, and the socialists Karl Marx, Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, and Alexander Herzen. Into the revolution. Link arms with them as they pass through its euphoria, confusion, and violence, and track their steps as they remerge into the post-revolutionary world. Totally down for that. And I'm actually excited to read about the people who I don't know. And I actually don't know any of these very well. I've never read Hugo. He's another gap. I need to read Limis, at least, and there's even a genealogy connection because he hung out a lot on Guernsey and interacted with my relatives there a little bit. So he's not a relative, but he interacted with relatives. Hugo did. There were letters written and they met each other. And so I just thought I had to get this book, and I kept reading really good reviews about it. So I got it. And so I am going to slowly, this will be a long-term project, because what I foresee happening is me wanting to read books by the people that are being described here. Flaubert is one of them. There are people who I probably will not be that interested in exploring beyond what is in here. I'll definitely read his book. And so connected to this little big project, I became a little bit obsessed with Jean Sand, the totally badass woman of the 19th century. I am just going to look at my, I know it's only Wikipedia, Amantine Lucile Aron Dupont de Froquille. They always have very long, complicated names, these French people. Best known by her pen name, Georges Sand. French novelist, memoirist, and journalist. One of the most popular writers in Europe in her lifetime, being more renowned than either Victor Hugo or Honoré de Balzac. In England in the 30s and 40s, Sand is recognized as one of the most notable writers of the European Romantic era. She wrote more than 50 volumes of various works to her credit, including tales, plays, political texts, along with her 70 novels. These people were like writing machines. And so I did a little bit of, not very deep research, and it's pathetic how few works, I mean, is she such a terrible writer? I'm going to find out and tell you. Compared to Balzac or Zola, there's so few of her works that are available in nice translated editions. I have to read it in English. My French is not where it should be for reading her in French. And so the ones that I found, and I did have to do a bit of searching, there's only one of hers with the Oxford Classics, and I found it called Indiana. It's the name of the woman, the character. That's the only one that they have of Georges Sand. She wrote 70 novels, which I think is kind of sad. Maybe she's just not a very good writer. For some reason, she doesn't have the audience. And the other one I found, and I got this from Blackwell's, I think, and it's called, I don't know what it's about, The Tower of Percement, The Tower of Percement. And so, I mean, how bad can she be? She might be a little bit more melodramatic, but, I mean, I don't know. So I will definitely read these. I can read these over the summer, at least one of them, and I'll slowly make my way. I think I do want to read them in order. I'm still kind of chronologically obsessed, so I don't think I want to jump to the Sand. It's chapter 2 of the book, so maybe I can get to it over the summer. So the first person that he talks about, there's an introduction, of course. It's a long book. I think it's Lamartine, who I don't know, and it's other stuff. Anyway, there's chapters. It's a long book. It's a scholarly tome, but it's good apparently. So I'll take my time with it, and I want to get into it at least over the summer. So in terms of plans, I'm reading the Iliad. That's a big one. I can at least get into these and have a routine of reading them. And someone's already posted that they like the Iliad. So I have a feeling once I get into it and get into the flow of it and have fun, I will enjoy it. And depending on how it goes, so the order is to read the Iliad and then the Aeneid and then the Dante. But I kind of already, I don't know. But then I also kind of want to read Ovid. So yeah, no, I don't want to, I know my limits. So I think I'm still going to have to wait with Dante because of the order thing. And then I'll start with the Beecher, the secondary work, and I'll probably read this one. I'll try and read this one over the summer too. So we'll see. And it's all sort of, it doesn't matter that much if it takes longer. I hope to be around for a while so I can finish all my projects. Projects are good. And of course I do have leftover projects from before that I do, like other things that I won't get into right now. But so that's another little project, and I've already chatted for 8 minutes. I'm going to stop here and I'll upload this one at some point. And then there's probably one more video with the other books that I'm looking at. And thank you. I think this is kind of easier to do, but it's still, I'm uploading a lot of videos today, and I uploaded a plant one in between. My husband's out there planting trees, and yeah, he's in an organization called The Wild Ones, Wild Ones. And I asked him this morning, do they have merch? I want t-shirts, even though I'm not in it. And he said no. And of course they do. I could buy a t-shirt. He's just not into that stuff. So he's like, no, they don't have merch. Yeah, they do. So yeah, we have our, I'm doing all this stuff and he's doing all that stuff, and we're very happy, so that's fine. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you all for watching and bearing with me as I tell you about my hopefully somewhat interesting projects. Tell me have you ever heard of Sand or read any? Are there other French 19th century people that you're interested in? I know it's a bit niche. It's a bit niche, but it's I connected to my interest in Europe in general, and I am interested in the Frenchies. So I would love to have a book like this for the German, because I'm not that knowledgeable about the Germans. A little bit more, but not that much. So if anyone knows of anything, I should ask Christopher Clark. He probably knows. Well, he's written about it. He has a book about the German 1848 that I should probably read. The Australian Cambridge professor who's very highly and well thought of. Talk to you soon. Thank you all for watching. There'll be at least one more hopefully today, and then that'll be it for a while. We'll see. Bye.